There is a moment when the weight becomes too much, when the soul staggers under burdens it was never meant to carry alone. It begins with a whisper, a quiet tremble of doubt that creeps into the cracks of resolve. Slowly, strength falters. The once steady heart that beat with resilience begins to quake, and the mind, weary from the endless storm, questions its own endurance. It feels as though the foundation is slipping away, that the earth beneath is giving way to the pull of gravity. But this moment, this breaking, is not an end. It is the beginning of transformation. The fall into weariness is not a failure. It is the call to pause. Even rivers must find still waters between their rushes to the sea. In this stillness, there is time to tend to wounds hidden beneath the surface, wounds that strength itself may have masked. Strength, after all, is not the hardness of stone but the flexibility of a reed bending in the wind. It must yield to survive. This is where renewal begins, not in force, but in surrender. Breathe, the universe whispers. Let go just for a moment. Trust that the ground will hold you when you rest. Darkness may loom in these hours. The mind, trapped in its own looping fears, might believe it has lost its way. But even the stars are hidden when the sky is thick with clouds. The light is not gone. It only waits for the right wind to clear the heavens. Strength returns in the quiet gestures of self-compassion, a hand pressed to a racing heart, a deep inhale that anchors the spirit, a whispered truth. You are still here. Survival itself is a triumph. Every heartbeat in pain is proof of persistence. When strength falters, memories of past resilience rise like ghosts, faint but insistent. The moments of overcoming, of standing again when the soul had been crushed, call from the corners of the mind. Remember, they whisper. Remember the time you carried on when you thought all was lost. Strength is not a single battle won, but the sum of 1,000 small victories, each breath taken after grief, every step forward when the weight of doubt pressed back. It is in these memories that the spirit finds fuel to stand again. As the heart begins to stir, seeking the pulse of strength anew, there is a reckoning with fear. Fear, the ancient foe, tells lies of fragility. It says, you are not enough. You will never be whole again. But fear is a shadow, powerless without light. Turn toward it. Acknowledge its presence. Let it speak its trembling truths, then meet it with your own. I have been afraid before. And yet I rose. I will rise again. There is no need to rush. Strength rebuilds in the slow gathering of hope. Like the tide that ebbs before it surges, resilience retreats only to gather force. Each small act of kindness toward the self is a wave inching back to shore. Gentle words spoken to a weary heart, moments of stillness where silence heals, reminders of beauty even in brokenness. The soul, though fractured, is never beyond repair. Light seeps into the cracks. The pieces, though scattered, know how to find each other again. Strength is not a solitary road. There is power in leaning on words that uplift, on voices that remind you of your worth, on hands that hold steady when your own falter. Connection becomes the bridge back to resilience. A shared burden is lighter. A whispered "me too" carries the weight of universes. Healing is not a lonely path. It is woven together in the fabric of community. Even the strongest need someone to help bear the load. And so strength regrows. It rises not with trumpets, but with the quiet unfolding of trust. Trust in the heart's ability to mend. Trust in the mind's capacity to calm its storm. Trust in time, the patient companion that holds both the breaking and the healing. The soul remembers its own resilience, even when the mind forgets. With each breath, the roots deepen. With each small act of hope, the foundation steadies. Strength is a cycle, a river that never stops flowing. Even when it seems to disappear beneath the surface, it carves new channels beneath the unseen. When it returns, it does so stronger, wiser, shaped by the depths it has traveled. The faltering is not the failure, it is the growth. And in this truth, there is peace. Even when strength wavers, it is never truly lost. It lives, waiting to rise again, as sure as the dawn follows night.